I'm Brent Phillips, and welcome to day one of our VIP Club special event, Abundance Through Benevolence. And so, the topic of this special event is what I like to call Abundance Through Benevolence, which I would define as creating prosperity for yourself and your family in a way that also uplifts others and makes a positive change in the world. And so, of course, it is unfortunate that most of us grew up bombarded by cultural belief systems that tell us that prosperity and abundance are most easily achieved through manipulation or taking advantage of others or even harming other people. Now, the good news is that it is absolutely possible to achieve abundance through benevolence. And when we get into the mechanics of how the energy of prosperity really works, I think you'll find it's actually a lot easier to create sustainable prosperity as an awakened light worker, as opposed to from the ego trying to manipulate and control and hurt others to get ahead. And so the goal of this special event is to give you the knowledge, the tools, and the resources so you can clear those old limiting belief systems and start creating your own path to abundance through benevolence. And so the bulk of each of these articles and videos that come with this series are going to be covering important aspects of what you need to know to achieve abundance through benevolence, with the goal of deepening your understanding of both how and why it can really work for you. In addition, the last section of each article includes a list of common blocks and downloads designed for you to muscle test and then download or clear. These will help you to manifest your goals of experiencing abundance through benevolence. And so I'm not going to include the list on the videos because it's so much easier to use the articles, because that lets you go through them and muscle test them and download them or do the block clearings at your own pace. So if you're watching the videos, check out the articles for the lists. Now, of course, you can do all the downloads and block clearings on yourself pretty much instantly if you've taken or are going to take my Awakening Dynamics Level 1 training class. But of course, there's a lot of other ways to work with the subconscious mind. So I'll offer a few other options for how you can do these block clearings and downloads in case you don't already know how to do it yourself. Of course, you can contact me, either email sessions@theformulaformiracles.com or call us at 818-915-0960. You can schedule a private session with me, and if my rates don't fit your budget, I'd be happy to refer you to one of my select star students. They're all certified teachers of Awakening Dynamics, and a few of them I have invited to join my professional practice. You can also submit the blocks and downloads you need to one of my Wealth Club events. And of course, you're always welcome to use another modality you're familiar with that's able to make change in the subconscious mind. So, what exactly is benevolence? It's one of my favorite words. Dictionary.com defines benevolence as follows. It is the desire to do good to others, goodwill, charitableness. And so I like to think of it as simply living life in a way that provides win-win solutions. So everyone benefits and everyone prospers. And so one of the biggest blocks to achieving abundance through benevolence is our cultural belief system that money is a zero-sum game. In other words, we tend to think there's only so much money to go around. This belief leads us to the conclusion that in order for me or you to have more money, someone else must necessarily have less money. Now, I want to acknowledge that money is in fact a zero-sum game within a narrow and artificially limited context. As an example, if you took a static snapshot of the world economy at one instant in time, there is, in fact, a fixed amount of wealth. You add up all the precious metals, all the real estate, the cash, the businesses, the intellectual property, etc. However, money is not a zero-sum game when we include the possibility of technological advancement, efficiencies from trade and specialization, and other factors that contribute to economic growth. In other words, it really is true that all of us can have more. The only thing that holds us back is our limiting paradigms and archaic belief systems. But I'm going to show you how to clear those. Now, I think you'll find that most very successful and wealthy people know this, especially those that are self-made. And even more importantly, they have subconscious belief systems that match that knowledge. So another aspect of many rich people, and this may be surprising to you, is that most of them really want you to be rich too. And so once you understand that money is not a zero-sum game, that makes sense. You're going to want others to prosper along with you. If for no other reason, it means you have that many more customers or clients who who can spend more money on your products and services and help your business grow. And of course, most rich people would love for you to be rich too, because they want to have more rich friends to hang out with, and they want to be around people that can afford to go do really cool stuff with them. Unfortunately, the reality of our current world is that poverty is an epidemic disease. It affects nearly every person in some way, shape, or form. And so even if you or your family happens to be extremely wealthy, you're still at risk from crime or other acts of violence or desperation committed by the poor and less fortunate. And so there is no solution to the world's big problems through greater degrees of manipulation and greed and exploitation. That makes the disease worse. And sadly, that's exactly what's been happening in the world in the last several years. However, it is certainly possible and well within our abilities right now to solve this world epidemic of poverty simply by redefining our egoic identification. Well, what do I mean by that? Egoic identification is at the core of the awakening process. It is about understanding and redefining exactly what you and I are. We're going to cover that in a lot more detail later in the series. Last thing I want to say here, in case it wasn't already obvious, I do want to point out that abundance is about far more than just making money. That's part of it. But to me, abundance means having plenty of money, plenty of friendship, plenty of hobbies, plenty of happiness, plenty of love, plenty of meaningful work, and plenty of opportunities to make the world a better place. And so, if you're interested in getting a more complete overview of what true abundance entails, you can always check out my VIP Club special event, Flourishing. For now, let's get you started with the subconscious block clearings and downloads I think you'll find helpful to support your journey to abundance through benevolence. And so, the list again is in the article. You can muscle test them. It comes in two parts. There's downloads, which is basically the good programs you want to have. In other words, your muscle test should be a yes. And then there's blocks, which are bad beliefs. And for those, you want your muscle test to be a no. That's all I have for today. Please check the article, use the muscle testing, go through the block clearings and downloads, and I'll be back soon with day 2 to talk more about abundance through benevolence.